IWRM and sponsored by TechFed India. We are very grateful to all of you for making your time for this important conference today. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for us to welcome Dr. Ranveer Singh, IAS and Chairman Brahmaputra Board as Chief Guest and Sri Yogesh Pathankar, Member Water Planning and Projects Central Water Commission as Guest of Honor. We are honored to have with us Sri A.K. Dinkar Sir, Secretary CBIP, and Sri K.K. Singh Sir, Director CBIP on the dais on this occasion. May I request all the participants to kindly welcome our dignitaries with a huge round of applause. Thank you. We are deeply grateful to you, to all of you, sir, for taking the time to grace this occasion with your valuable presence. Thank you very much. Now I extend our traditional welcome. May I request the A.K. Dinkar sir to kindly please present shawl and bouquet to our chief guest, Dr. Ranveer Singh and Sri Yogesh Pathankar sir. Now I request all the dignitaries on the dais to please come forward for lighting of the lamp ceremony. Now I invite Sri A.K. Dinkar sir to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this prestigious conference on integrated water management for sustainable growth, policy reforms, and navigating regulatory challenges organized by CBIP. Today, we are joined by a distinguished group of policymakers, engineers, researchers, industry leaders, and academicians from across India. Each one of you playing a vital role in shaping the discourse and direction of water resource management in the country. Water is more than just a natural resource. It is the foundation of economic productivity, ecological balance, and human well-being. As India navigates rapid urbanization, climate variability, and increasing demand across sectors, the case for integrated water resource management (IWRM) has become not only relevant but imperative. Over the next 2 days, we will delve into key technical and policy challenges, including surface and groundwater integration, flood risk management, groundwater governance, etc. We are pleased to be joined by Dr. Ranveer Singh, IAS retired and Chairman Brahmaputra Board, as our chief guest, and Shri Yogesh Pathankar, member WPNP CWC, as a guest of honor, and many more thought leaders contributing to valuable insights from across sectors. This conference is not just about discussions, it is about translating knowledge into action. We aim to identify intersectoral linkages, propose scalable solutions, and push forward the policy and institutional reforms necessary to build resilient water infrastructure and governance systems. We are sure that all the delegates attending the conference will be benefited from each one of you. Let us work together to build a water sector climate resilient and sustainable future for our nation. Once again, I extend a very warm welcome to all. Thank you for being a part of this important initiative. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your welcome address. Now it's my honor to invite Dr. Ranveer Singh ji to kindly address the audience.
Thank you very much. Very morning to all the participants. Respected guest of honor, Yogesh Pathangachi, Secretary CBIP, Kachi, A.K. Singh, and dear friends. First of all, I want to express my sense of gratitude to the CBIP for providing me this huge opportunity and doing me a great honor and a great favor by inviting me to the chief guest of inauguration of this conference today. I'm not a water expert. I am a career civil servant who retired about 9.5 years ago. I have had some experience of working in the water sector. I worked as additional chief executive officer of Delhi Jal Board long back in the year 1999 to 2001. Also, I worked as secretary minor irrigation department in the government of Mizoram in around 2012-13. Now, since February of 2024, I have been working as chairman of the board. Water is the lifeline. As Rahim says, and I'm very fond of citing the couplet from Rahim, that Rahiman Pani Rakhiye, bin Pani sab soon. Pani bin na ubre, moti manus chun. So, nothing is possible. Life cannot be conceived, let alone flourish without water. So, we must manage our water. Rahiman Pani Rakhi. We must manage our water. If we cannot manage our water, then we cannot have any quality of life on this planet, whatever life. So today's 2 days conference, the topic is integrated water resource management and its linkage with the sustainable growth, and what kind of policy reforms are required, and what are the regulatory challenges that need to be negotiated. I think this is a very, very large area, huge area for discussion. As it is, water is a very fascinating subject. It is a very complex subject. It is a very huge subject. And it has so many different dimensions because it touches everybody's life. And it touches every sector of social, economic, cultural life of any society. So Actually, this is one sub domain which is truly multi and multi-stakeholder. There are so many stakeholders to be included in the management of water. So obviously, when we are dealing with a subject of this sort, it is hugely challenging. India is looking forward to become a developed nation by 2047. Now, we cannot become a developed nation unless we manage our water resources properly. But without managing the water resources, the economic growth cannot be sustained. Therefore, we have to take our water resources very, very seriously. And water resources is all one, because we call it hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is one entity, but it manifests in different forms, in different dimensions. It has so many different manifestations that it looks as if it is very diverse, as if it is it consists of many, many things. But actually, it is all one. So therefore, the relevance of integrated water resource management. We have to think it in an integrated approach with a mindset which encompasses all elements of water. So, for example, whether it is glaciers, there's a lot of water which is blocked in the form of whether it is water flowing into our rivers, surface water flowing into rivers, whether it is the water below the groundwater reserves, whether it is the water in the ocean, whether it is the wastewater. So, water for irrigation, water for industry, water for drinking. So, it has lots of different forms. But if we keep looking at it with these different lenses, there would be it would be very difficult to manage. So therefore, integrated water resource management is something that we have to adopt in our thinking, in our planning, and in our governance model. Then only we will be able to make rapid progress in order to manage water resources to serve the burgeoning and increasing need for supporting the economic growth of the country, making it sustainable. We need to have a paradigm in which there are certain values that we are able to pursue. The biggest value of course is making water available, access to water. That access should be universal. It also should be equitable. Equity is a huge value in the water domain. So our policy and our practices must pursue this value. The other one is efficiency. In water use, we have to achieve highest level of efficiencies. Then only we can manage the water resources. Then only we can meet the demand. Efficiency has to be built into our policy and our management. The other important thing is the quality of water. Because if we are not able to maintain high standard of quality, then water becomes a problem. Consuming that water becomes problematic, not only for human beings, but also for other forms of life, for biodiversity. So quality of water is very, very important. The other thing is sustainability. That we have to manage our water not for the current generation alone, but we have to manage our water so that we leave it in a much better shape for the future generations than the shape in which we received. These are some of the values that have to be ingrained, that have to be included in our paradigm for water resource management. As I said, it's very challenging. And the proof of it being challenging is that if we look around in our own country, look at the state of affairs, what is it that we see? We see that our rivers are drying up, leading to conditions of drought, leading to conditions of scarcity, severe water scarcity in many parts. So that is what we actually see. We see that our rivers are highly polluted in many, many stretches. Our major rivers are highly polluted. We see that the groundwater extraction is going on mindlessly. We see that water table is going down in many parts of the country to levels which are alarming. We also see that groundwater quality has gone down. There is severe pollution of groundwater in many parts of the country. We see that our water bodies are in very bad shape, particularly in the urban areas, even in the rural areas. The water bodies have been obliterated, encroached upon, filled up for community structures or private structures. So they are no longer able to hold any water. And whatever water bodies are still there, they are connected to the domestic and industrial effluents. So all kinds of effluents come and collect in these water bodies. As a result, you will find that in big and small cities in the country today, all water bodies are full of filth. Also, they have become the dumping ground for solid waste, garbage. So this is the state of affairs of water bodies. So we see that people are not getting drinking water. People are not getting the irrigation water, although taps have been provided, although canals have been dug. But there are serious problems of maldistribution. There are serious problems of equity. We also see that the kind of infrastructure that we have built, it leads to a lot of inefficiency. It leads to a lot of loss of water in transmission, in distribution. So most of the water that we draw from the dams or from the rivers, by the time it reaches the destination, most of it has either percolated or evaporated. So as a result, conditions of scarcity arise. So all these problems are there that we are watching. And we have to solve these problems. So what should be our approach to solving the problem? Obviously, we have to address through policy reforms. We also have to develop proper platforms and proper mechanism for involving everybody, because water touches the life of everyone. Everybody is a stakeholder. So we also need to create the necessary stakeholder consultation, dialogue mechanisms, because otherwise, whatever policy reforms we bring would not be acceptable, because those would be the work of a few minds, and others may not buy into it. And we have seen it in the past. Therefore, this dialogue part and participation part and community engagement part is also very, very important. One thing which I think there cannot be any dispute about.
Please switch off. Please switch off your mobile.
I think he's not able to switch off.
Yes.
Okay, so one thing perhaps on which there cannot be any dispute is that we have been so far pursuing supply side management. Even from pre-independence times, and then later on we continued after the independence on the same trajectory of managing the supply line. So that has become part of the problem, because it has misdirected demand and consumption. It also has brought in inefficiencies and tensions. So therefore, we need to move towards demand management. Because if we do not manage the demand, what we are seeing is a rapid increase in the demand for water by all sectors. The drinking water sector, the urban sector, irrigation sector, industrial sector. So there is a rapid increase in the demand. We have to explore the ways and means of managing the demand, so that there is a need for efficiency, so that there is a scope for efficiency. Otherwise, they say that by 2030, 50% of the demand will be unmet. So we are moving in that kind of a scenario. But we cannot manage the demand unless we do some other things. For example, unless we understand the value of water, unless everybody understands the value of water. And nobody will understand the value of water unless we price the water. If we continue with the consumption divorced from any pricing or management measurement, then we cannot, because the precondition for managing the demand is that we have to measure and we have to price and we have to collect the value for the water consumed. So that requires a huge change in mindset. It also has challenges of political uh, political approach, because we have to, we are a democracy. In a democracy, the political parties compete with each other, and they compete with each other based on the promises that they make, based on their election manifestos. So as long as there is a general understanding, a general impression that if water is priced, charged, and it is accurately measured so that those who consume more have to pay more, then there could be electoral losses, electoral repercussions. So there is a need for building that consensus that it is required in the larger national interest, because economic growth and prosperity and becoming a developed nation is not possible unless we manage our water properly. And in order to manage the water properly, we need to have demand management. We need to have pricing. We need to have measurement, accurate measurement, and universal measurement. So this is one part. The other part, which I think, is that our model of allocating money, and I think that the public investment in the water sector is quite insufficient. It needs to be increased many times, given the scale of the problems that we have, and given its importance, its crucial value for supporting our national development, economic development. Therefore, there is, I think, a need for increasing public investment in the water sector. The other thing is that how should this investment be actually spent? What should be the model of applying this public investment? The current model is that the state governments do not have enough resources. The central government is putting in whatever money the central government is putting in it. That is mostly transferred to the states against projects. And we also see that there are huge delays in the projects. Even I've seen the projects which were supposed to be completed in the 11th five-year plan. 11th five-year plan are still not completed. Still, there is no financial progress. Still, the central share of the project partly is still to be transferred to the state, because the state is not able to give the proposal, because it is they have not completed the project. They have not made that physical progress, which is a precondition. So this is the kind of model that through which the money is spent. So whether we need to rethink this model is another idea to be explored. Whether we need to introduce a market mechanism where the efficiencies of the private sector, energy of the private sector in terms of project selection, in terms of project management, in terms of better execution, innovation, technologies could be harnessed. And of course, then it has to be based on the payments have to be based on performance. They have to be based on those improvements. It has to be based on certain service levels. For that, we need to have a system, an architecture of laying the standards, benchmarks, pricing, measurement systems, efficiency levels, your benchmarks for bringing in innovation, new technologies, better management models, etc. So it brings us to the regulatory challenges. Then we have to think in terms of having the proper regulatory framework in place. Because if we do not have a regulatory framework in place, we cannot have responsible market behavior. So therefore, we need to have independent regulators who would go into these questions and who would also have larger stakeholder consultation built into their mechanisms. And they would lay these different standards and benchmarks, also do the pricing, etc. For example, let us say flood control, flood proofing. So sometimes we use that phrase, flood proofing. So that why can't that be a service that we contract out under a management contract for a given basin, that you flood proof this basin, and certain benchmarks, service levels, they are defined, and payments are made for providing that service as per those benchmarks. So that kind of thing will bring in the private sector management capabilities and efficiencies, and will lead to larger social good. And it will introduce a system of better value for the money that we invest. It will lead to a system of greater efficiencies and better outcomes. A greater accountability. Because today, there is a problem there's a crisis of accountability. We spend whatever money we spend, but for all the delays, for all the poor quality infrastructure, there is no accountability. So therefore, we need to think on those lines. I'm not saying that the perfect model is available. We need to study what is the international experience, what is the literature on this, and what is it that the private sector is willing to do, right? Because private sector will come if there is a reasonable expectation of profit. Private sector will not come to make losses. It will come if there is a reasonable expectation of profit. Normally, it is the consumer that pays. In some segments of service delivery through the private sector, the consumer should pay, particularly in urban areas and such places, in some segments. Even in irrigation, the consumer can pay. But for some services, the state should pay. The government should pay. Because those are public goods that the public services that we are providing, but delivering through the private sector, rather than the government directly delivering through the department. So these are some of the ideas that we need to explore. And also, we need to solve these problems of flood, erosion, congestion, urban flooding now coming up as a major thing. And then the issue of climate change, because what climate change is doing is increasing the uncertainty. So our water resource issues are becoming less predictable, more uncertain. So we need to have greater flexibility, we need to have greater agility, we need to have greater resilience. So we have to also build those things into our management models, so that then truly our water resource management can support our journey towards a developed nation in 2047. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your thought-provoking address. Now, all the participants are requested to please keep your phone on silent mode.
And can we ask any question also?
Yeah, sure, sure.
It's not a question, it's just a submission that since we are working on this sustainable policy, lots of compliances. So the basic thing which is missing is the sensitization, awareness. Because most of the people, even our students and we are missing with the awareness. They don't understand the logical absorption of, you can say logical consumption of the water. So suppose we have 50, 60 people in the room. If you ask them, most of the people, they don't have any water harvesting system within their home, right? So not even 5% people. So, sir, I have been struggling a lot. I sent position papers to UGC, AICT to make a special subject of compliances and a logical management of environment and all these things to be included within the AIC and UGC norms, so that the students who are studying irrespective of any subject, they can understand the logical consumption, how to use the natural resources logically. Because if they'll think, they'll start saving the water. Otherwise, whatever policy government will make is not going to work, to be very honest, sir. Somehow AICT, they accepted it. I'm still struggling with UGC because AICT is more into diploma, MBCT and all degree, technical things. But UGC should also take this thing. So, sir, I want your help. Because I think this is the correct forum. If you can push them, and you can probably send them a letter. They should include all these things within the syllabus. Just one line or maybe 10, 20 pages, so that students can understand the logical usage of water and they can focus more and more into it. Then I think this can probably solve the problem. This is one sir. Second thing, I don't want to name the authority and ministry since I'm advisor with them. So there is a compliance with the water IS 145/43 and IS 134/28. They recently removed it. So earlier said the COC was approximately 98 lakh rupees per crore rupee to set up a plant. Now the COC will be 20,000 rupees. So wherein one side I was banging my head to take care of this anti-scaring material, why you are adding it to the water? And so now the new thing has come. So any Tom, Dick and Harry, they will spend 20,000 rupees, they'll make it set up and they'll keep on extracting the water and they will say that I'm complying and lots of people will suffer. So sir, it's my submission if you can do something that will make it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tom.
Thank you.
So, very, very important that it's our children, students, and students in colleges, universities.
Fine.
They need to. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, that is.
They need to be given the right education. They need to be sensitized about the value of saving water, the value of ensuring water quality. So water conservation as well as not polluting the water bodies. These are two huge values that need to be inculcated right from the very early age. And the education system should work in this direction. The other thing is changing human behavior, right? Because there is this problem of cognitive dissonance. We know something, correct, but we don't do it because it is a little inconvenient or because it involves a change of habit. So they have the role of regulations, pricing, measurement to reward conservation, saving through the tariff mechanism or through other incentives. It becomes relevant. So we have to move in that direction. And if there is strong regulation, independent regulation, then such policies through tariff mechanisms can be easily brought in. That will help changing people's habits and behaviors. Thank you.
I add one more thing. The most important thing is the institutional reforms, which is the required now. Because so far, like we have been only, there was no concept of service delivery so far. And rightly you have said that we were not measuring how much water we are releasing, we are giving. And the pricing is also a very important thing. But then that is also a very touchy subject as far as the political system is concerned. We have a regulatory authority in Maharashtra. They have already given some rates for it, and they do it is based on volumetric measurement. But then actually speaking, how much money they are able to get it from the farmers or from the other body, that is again a question mark. Because of so many reasons, they are not able to take that water money, and because there is no independence, although there is a regulatory body, but that is again a all control.
Independence is the right word, independent regulation. So the regulatory bodies are there, even though enforcements are there, but the sensitization is not there. For me, it will be a liability. Government of India is saying, for example, अभी पानी use करना मेरे लिए free of cost. So because I'm not sensitized, so I don't value the water. Government can say एक टेंडर लगा के कि 1000 रुपए का चलान हो गए, फिर waste the water, that will be COC. Mandatory हो जाएगा, हम समझेंगे half hearted use. But awareness नहीं है, sir, that is my question. अभी बैंगलोर में देखिए हर रोज every day it is raining at 5:30. चेन्नई में it is raining, sir. Even in Delhi, NCR में rain पानी बहुत पड़ता है, लेकिन क्या है, we hardly bother. Sir, from my pocket, I have invested in 12 water harvesting project. लोगों को free में करके दिया है so that they can understand. Water harvesting, I'm typically focusing on water harvesting, man-made floodplain नहीं जाएंगे अभी. तो सर 3-4 हजार रुपए में आप एक छोटा सा सेटअप तैयार कर सकते हो. बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट है, इसमें इक्वली देखना है, MRS से देखना है, स्टेपल ऊपर सीधे देखना है. That will cost you 7-8 lakh rupees. That can easily possible sir. 3000 रुपए में भी ये काम हो सकता है. लेकिन सर किसी को बताते नहीं. हम गाड़ी धोते हैं तो रोज धोते हैं कि गाड़ी कभी गंदा ही नहीं होगा. मतलब ऐसा कर रहे हैं गाड़ी के साथ में. Every day we are cleaning that. So sir, that is illogical. बर्तन धो रहे हैं इतने तेज प्रेशर में, नहा रहे हैं बहुत ज्यादा. So sir, we have to control or we must respect this. Otherwise sir, आपको एक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ. अभी बिस्लरी का है नहीं कंपनी वाटर. You buy in Delhi 1 लीटर 20 रुपए मिल जाता है. You go to Chennai, you'll find the same 20 रुपए का बॉटल में 750 ml पानी. 750. और चेन्नई इट इज ट्रेनिंग एवरी डे. चेन्नई का प्रॉपर्टी का रेट कम हो गया. सर यू सी द चेन्नई होटल्स, इट इज चीपर देन एनी अदर प्रॉपर्टी. आप 3 महीने का उसको कंपेयर कर ली तो सर ये प्रॉब्लम है उन जगहों पे जहाँ पे रेगुलर बारिश होती है. बैंगलोर में अभी मेरे एक फ्रेंड है, अभी मेरा स्पीच था US 2025 में. So they spend 1.4 lakh rupees for one flat and they are leaving the flat because वो हर रोज टैंकर मंगवाते हैं. 3 साल पहले सब ठीक था, अभी टैंकर मंगवा रहे हैं. So it is not the government. Government क्या करेगी? So it is we. हमें समझना पड़ेगा that we have created that crisis. So sir, that's what I'm saying. Sensitization is very important and is desperately missing in our syllabus. Sir, हमने जगदीश सर से बात किया, I don't want to name, but जगदीश सर से बात किया, सीतारामन सर से बात किया. So ऐसी से अच्छा चलो कुछ तो लिख के दो. सर हमने दिया है. सर आप आपके जैसे लोग, आपके जैसे बोर्ड अगर एक छोटा सा पेपर सबमिट करेंगे क्वेश्चन पेपर, they may consider it and this is the only answer.
Sir, actually, the other issue which the state government, because most of the things are state government, which is implementing. There the issue is, one most important issue is that frequent transfers of the officers also happening. Because if you give them a set of targets, like Professor Biswa, who is in UK, he often comes here and gives talks also. He always used to tell about that, he talks about Delhi Del Board. He says, why don't you give a 3 years time period to CEO with a target? That right now they say that almost 50% of the water is lost in either theft or leakage and all. You give him a target that you have a 3 years target. You have to bring it to say 50 to 60%. Something like that. If you do it, you will be again rewarded for the, let's say you will be given another 2 years and you bring it to just like this Mr. Sridhar, he was given a very clear cut target and he was a very highly professional, very upright person, very clearly given that nothing will come in your way. If this type of leadership and the way it is implemented, I think we'll have a much better way of water management. Otherwise, because you see, I find that every 6 months, 1 year, if you go to state government, new officer come. Even the worst thing I am seeing in Madhya Pradesh nowadays, sir, Madhya Pradesh doesn't have a officer. I mean, my maximum level officer is only 2 superintending engineer officers. The rest are all below that. And now the ENC post has become like that. He's appointed for 1 year on contract basis. Again, a new ENC comes.
आप सेंट्रल वाटर कमीशन की बात नहीं कर रहे
नहीं, I am talking of state government.
वहां पे तो थोड़े
Sorry, sir, but at least they are from regular. This is something very. Yes. No, so there also, yes, sir. You can say that we should be given 2 years, 3 years, some target, irrespective of his age. If he is somebody like in police and this thing has already happened, sir, like few posts, they are giving them a 2 years tenure appointment also. And whether they cross 60 and like a short tenure. So they can do some and leave an impact also. If they have something.
So with all due respect, what my submission is irrespective of transfer, what I'm saying, Central Board for Irrigation and Power, उनके तरफ से there will be a recommendation that boss, please include this within the curriculum. And that's it. Works for all.
ये तो
ठीक है सर, उसके बाद एक बार वो कोर्स में आ गया, we will do all these works. एक बार वो कोर्स में आ गया तो बच्चों के लिए परमानेंट हो जाएगा सर, कोर्स तो बनाने का वैसे ही वो नहीं करते. तो सर ये आ जाएगा तो ये सर ये कल्याण हो जाएगा, बस ये बोलना सर. ठीक, थैंक्स.
बस मैं एक छोटी सी रिमाइंड करना चाह रहा हूँ कि देखो sensitization is very important, should be done through the education system. There is no doubt about it. It is a shame that we don't do it. Right? There is no doubt. But market is a very powerful force. Very powerful force. You know, when सुबह अखबार में एक लीफलेट आता है कि भी वहां पे आज 2 किलो प्याज के साथ 1 किलो टमाटर फ्री मिलेगा. ओके, तो सबको पता चल जाता है and everybody becomes highly motivated. Okay, sensitized, highly sensitized, and you will find that there is a huge queue in front of that store, right? Why? Because of the tariff mechanism. So if there is an independent regulator and if the regulator goes for virtuous tariff policies, then the human behavior will be definitely influenced for the sector. There is no doubt. It will sensitize.
Now I am honored to invite Shri Yogesh Ji to kindly address the audience.
Good morning, everyone. So, Dr. Ranveer Singh ji and colleagues from CBIP and all the colleagues here. since many things, most of the things I think Dr. MB has covered. So will be talking only few things about what exactly the government is planning to do in the future. Because I belong to now, right now, currently I am the government. So although he also from, but we do it on a day-to-day basis, all the issues with the government is planning. So right now, currently, the focus is mainly on the vision of 2047, which the Honorable Prime Minister has given. And there one of the issues is also a sustainable issue which we have to take care. Because what Vision 2047 talks about the India to be a Viksit nation with the $30 trillion economy and so many things. And then water, of course, is the most important thing. Without water, nothing can, no human activity is possible, whether it is economics or anything. So water is going to play a very important role, and if we have to go into that level of Viksit Bharat. So in that context, we already had two ministerial level conference also. And one is at Bhopal, another one was at Udaipur, and one secretary level conference also happened the Chennai. And there everyone talked about the efficiency in the irrigation sector, because that was one of the recommendations. Like all over the world, they say that agriculture, almost 70% of the water is being utilized on an average. There are different countries. Israel is altogether a different model. Whereas in India, it is much more. Some say it's 80%, 85%. So it is almost much more than what the other nations are utilizing. Our water productivity, crop productivity is much, much less than average world over. So that is where our focus point, and unfortunately, we have not been focusing on the service delivery part. So although so many schemes central government has also launched so many times, and now, based on the recommendations and all those things, we have set up a national task force under the chairmanship of one of the members of NITI Aayog on this very topic, integrated water resource management, with a vision of 2047. So already there are 8 working groups which are working on different aspects. So one of the aspect is water governance also, where we are already, I mean, some of the laws already government is moving, like change in this Interstate Dispute Act, because once a tribunal is set up, there is no upper limit. When the award will be passed or whatever, it will come. It takes 10 years, somewhere it is 15 years. So there they want to make a change. Although it was once introduced also in the parliament, Lok Sabha passed it also, and then subsequently, because the government tenure was over and new elections were, so it couldn't be passed. So again, now we are again going in for it. Then one more bill, there were 4, 5 bills, different bills were there. We want to integrate those bills. So that is integrated water resource management bill, which also is in the draft stage, and that also maybe in future times, when it will also be put into the parliament. So these are the two actions we are taking. And the other one most important thing is, like already said, that the current institutions are not there to deliver what we are expecting. Because these were institutions which were created, I mean, whether it is my institution, that is the Central Water Commission, in the center, as well as in the state government. They were mainly created with the thinking that we'll construct more dams, more infrastructure. That was the whole idea. But now things are different. We have created most of the infrastructure. Now we have to focus on service delivery, improving the efficiency, because as we are going to grow, the demand from other sector also will go up. So we have to divert. I mean, the only source will be the agriculture sector, from where we'll divert the water, say 10% or 15% and all those things. So the efficiency has to be increased. Then we have to recycle that water also. Now, as far as the rivers, you know what is the state of rivers we have done. Most of them are polluted. So there also we have to, already one program has already been launched, that is Namami Gange, and we are able to see some good results also. And now the government of Delhi and central government is also trying for Yamuna. Yamuna is a bit difficult because there is no upstream flow. Although a mandate has been passed by the parliament, I mean the Supreme Court, that 10 cubic of water e-flow you have to give from Hatnikund barrage. That is being released, but because the Hatnikund barrage to Delhi is almost 150 kilometers and all. So by the time it reaches, I don't know how much it actually reaches on the way, because many farmers also they pump the water also. So there the Delhi has to play a very important role, because so much polluted water you are draining into the Yamuna. Although now sufficient infrastructure they have created for processing this grey water, and that has to be brought to a level that it can be released in the. Right now we are just releasing the water without much of the pollution level remains the same. Like somewhere the PO is almost zero, POD is very high. Although they have STPs have been constructed now, the almost the capacity also they have created to process this much quantity of water. So, but I don't know why it is still the quality remains very poor. That is to be seen. So now we have a new, like central government has been running this AIBP, PM KSY and so many schemes for so many years. But now, sir, what we are already started thinking, and yesterday we had a meeting also. So our whole concept and the secretary's concept is also we should talk only of service oriented. That should be the thought process, and that is how we should plan our schemes. So we are now in that moving in that direction. That requires a lot of modernization also in the current system, because a lot of SCADA and then so many things have come up. We have hardly modernized our irrigation system. So all these things we are going to bring in a large way. And of course, the one MCAT program has been recently launched. That is a pilot scheme, which is modernization command area development program. Command area development program is going on since 1974, where we used to construct this small field channels and all those things. But it is more or less a failure type of thing. We have seen what has happened. Nothing much improvement has happened. Here they want to bring in private sector also. Initially for 5 years, they want to have a private sector which will play the role of irrigation. I mean, they will teach the water users association how to do the, I mean, how to manage the water. For 5 years, they will do this hand holding. They will teach them, and after that, everything will be handed over. So now a private sector has also to play an important role in times to come. So far, we have never thought in that direction.
Private sector as well as the community.
Yes, community. So earlier we were just thinking it is the duty of the government which has to do everything. So this concept is also now changing. Maybe like in power sector, the reforms which have happened, that we have divided into three companies. One is generation, one is this transmission, and third distribution. There everywhere we do the measurement. How much water, I mean, how much electricity we have put into the grid. Then the grid wala will say, I have delivered this much electricity. Then you see who is doing that. That is how the efficiency has gone up. Now we get every place we have 24/7 electricity supply. So similar thing, I think we'll have to do in governance model. We have to change. I mean, these institutions are no more meant for the current requirement. And this is being said by so many, earlier committees also. And maybe because of the resistance, everyone thinks about what will happen to my promotions, my this thing, and my career. Because I've been in the Central Water Commission. So I also feel that we, in many areas, we don't have knowledge or technology. Like remote sensing has become a very important and very powerful tool for doing many things in the agriculture and water management. Hardly we do much of the things. In fact, uh, last week, sir, there was a ICID conference also when they celebrated their 75 years. So one Professor Wim Bastianson, who happens to be the young, you can say ET जो है and evapotranspiration का वो एक कह सकते हैं, we can say he is the key man who has done a lot of work in this area. Now he is from Netherlands. He was the head of IMI also in Sri Lanka, the National Water Management Institute, and he often comes to India also. So he has now become an entrepreneur. He has developed that model, I mean, the tool, water accounting plus he has developed, and where he breaks down every pixel level where that water is being utilized. And from there, they are able to find out also what is the contribution of groundwater, what is the contribution of rainfall, what is the contribution from my canal supplementary irrigation. That level of tool he has developed. He is not alone in the group. And now he has become an entrepreneur. He has launched 14 satellites now, constellation of satellites, which will be covering each area twice a day. So you can now measure what is the growth or what is how my crops are performing. This much level, sir, is of technology development is happening. And one professor from Canada, he told that they have got 86% water use efficiency. Can you imagine? They have achieved to that level. We are just thinking of 35, 40, sometimes even 30%. Recently, there was one study given by our National Water Mission for one of the projects in Maharashtra. It showed 28% of it. So this is the level. And in fact, they showed one picture also, like one plant was there. So how, what, up to what level the water is going, whether it is going below the root level also, that might also they are, I mean, such precision irrigation they are doing. If it is going beyond that, that will you are wasting water. So within the root zone only that water should be there. So this is how that water productivity, crop productivity and efficiency is happening.
That means the market is getting ready. We need to leverage
Yes.
it, analyze our estimate by engaging such marketplace.
Yes. So I think these are all the things which I wanted to share with you. And we are already on the job. Our government is also now thinking in that direction. Maybe like this PMKSY scheme when we launch next year, we'll put few things also compulsory as a part of that scheme. If you want money from us, you have to create an independent water regulatory authority. If you create it, we'll fund it, otherwise no. Like in flood schemes, if you see, we have put a condition now until unless you bring a flood zoning bill and all those things, we will not fund that project. And somehow or the other, in some form.
Yes, it has definitely made a difference.
Yes.
In the attitude.
So that type of thing we are now going to put until unless, I mean, as a central government, because otherwise the development is all with the state government, which we have to do it.
So in the northeast, earlier it was only Manipur that had done the legislation on floodplain zoning. Now Arunachal also has done.
Yes.
And now Mizoram and Meghalaya are also going ahead with their.
I think Assam also has some Bodo land area, they have done something. So this type of things, central government can play a role. One more thing which often comes to my mind, that this being a state subject, why this service should not be a all India service? Because most of the trade subjects are the services are all India. There is no point in having a central services for a subject which is a purely state subject. Because you see a lot of experience you get in the state government, I mean, because execution, everything, water management, they do it, which is missing in the central offices.
Between center and
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. The people coming from state in the center, and they will be again going back. So the state will have much this thing also. So that also, I think, in the governance model, we have to change. Let us see how far we can reach, because that is also a very sensitive political issue. But we are someday or the other, we have to convince them. In fact, for 2, 3, like this KRMB, GRMB, when they were set up under the reorganization of this Andhra Pradesh Act, this Krishna River Management Board and Godavari River Management Board, they were given the task of appraisal of the projects also. But then they said we don't have manpower. So again, it landed upon CWC. Then we created one SOP also, which was acceptable to everyone, and that is being followed, and we are now clearing those projects. And then there is no issue being talked of. So such type of things also are happening. And state are showing the state also. So we have to do a lot of changes and the technological development. This thing also has to be uh, brought into this sector, which at currently, because we don't measure also, nobody knows in this so many irrigation projects, volumetric measurement is absolutely not there. No, I mean, how much water I have released, how much water I have given to them. Like, if you go to Uttar Pradesh, they have removed the outlets also from where the area of 40 hectares is supposed to be. That is where you say that my outlet is over. From there, the command area development start. Now, all the current scheme, we are going to remove that also. There is no command area development. Anything. Everything will be one scheme. We have to deliver, say, let's say, up to 2 to 5 hectare area. This is where and then from there the individual farmers will take. So that also we are now thinking, there is no point in having a command area. Then they earlier thought that we'll implement pari passu. Then that also didn't happen for this last PM KSY scheme. So we thought that let us remove all of this. We'll have only one scheme which will cover entire thing. So with these words, I thank you. Thanks CBIP for inviting me and sharing my thoughts to all the audiences. Thank you.
Now I request the KK Singh ji to present mementos to Dr. Ranveer and you please. Now I would like to invite the KK Singh ji, to Director CBIP, to kindly propose vote of thanks.
It is indeed my privilege and honor to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Central Board of Irrigation and Power and the entire organizing committee of this National Conference on Integrated Water Management for Sustainable Growth, Policy Reforms and Navigating Regulatory Challenges. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. Ranveer Singh, ISTAT, Chairman from Putra Board, and guest of honor Sri Yogesh Patankar, member of WPNP Central Water Commission. Thank you for gracing this occasion and for your thought-provoking addresses. Your insights on the need for robust institutional framework, climate resilience, and technology-led solutions have laid a solid foundation for the technical deliberations that follow. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to our secretaries, Jinkatra, for delivering environment forward-looking welcome address, which captured the essence of the challenges and opportunity in the integrated water management. We are deeply grateful to all our distinguished speakers, panelists, and subject experts for their valuable contributions and technical perspectives, ranging from groundwater regulation and process management to smart irrigation systems, IoT-based monitoring, and use of geosynthetic infrastructure. Your expertise will no doubt inspire actionable thinking and innovative approaches in the sessions ahead. A special word of appreciation to all our delegates, industry partners, researchers, and participants. Your active involvement and engagement reflect a shared commitment to water security and sustainable growth. I would also like to acknowledge the dedication of our staff, due to their planning coordination, this conference is happening. When you know transition into the technical sessions, I am confident that the ideas and knowledge shared during this conference will catalyze collaborative action, support evidence-based policy reform, and contribute meaningfully to India's evolving water governance landscape. Once again, thank you all for your time, participation, and continued support. Jai Hind.
Now I request all of you to please stand up for the national anthem.
Tava Shubha Name Jagire, Tava Shubha Ashisha Mange, Dave Tava Jaya Gatha, Janagana Mangala Dayaka Janagini Pavitra Bhagya Vidhata,
Please.
No problem.
Kindly please gather for the group photograph.